A lot of y'all are showing up every day. You're being consistent. You're doing the thing, okay? And I am cheering you on. I'm applauding you. Trust me, especially those of you who've been showing up with me for the past 30 days in my 30-day visibility challenge. Y'all are killing it. Some of y'all are seeing like incredible results. Like, I'm so excited for you. So I'm definitely excited and cheering you on. However, I see a lot of you guys, and just in general in my audience, I coach a lot of photographers and creative entrepreneurs as well outside of the photography industry. And I see a lot of you guys making the same kind of mistakes, right? Especially on Instagram, that I know are hurting your views and therefore hurting your reach, who you're actually trying to get as clients. So I have outlined 20 things that I see you guys doing a lot of not to do. And I'm outlining those and also giving you the fix for them in this episode. We're going to dive right in. It's going to be lightning round. Get out your notepad, be ready to listen to this a couple of times and send it to a friend who also needs it. All right, let's go. Welcome to Tried and True with a Dash of Woo, where we're all about mixing tried and true strategies that actually work with the magic of manifestation and the science of programming your unconscious mind so that you walk away feeling integrated, inspired, and aligned. I'm Renee Bowen, certified life and business coach, professional photographer, middle-aged wife, and mom to now 3 grown kids. I've built 2 multiple 6-figure businesses with 0 business training by digging in, learning the methods, and now I'm here to pass them all on to you. From photography and business strategies to energy healing, human design, and the basics of manifestation, we cover it all here. I'm here to help you embrace your multi-passionate brains and lean into the fastest and most efficient ways to reach your goals, whatever they may be. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, or maybe you're just here for the woo-woo, let's dive in and explore all the exciting ways to take your life, business, and self-improvement to the next level. Thanks for joining me, and get ready to be inspired. All right, this is a no fluff episode. We're not going to be doing fluffy things here. We're getting right into the nitty gritty. I got a lot to do, so do you. Okay. Number 1 on the list of Insta blunders, things you're probably doing that you shouldn't be doing or just not paying attention to. Number 1 is kind of basic, but a lot of y'all don't know about it. So I want to make sure that I'm covering it for you here. So number 1 is not checking to see if your account has any restrictions on it. Now, a lot of y'all don't even know that this is a thing, but it is. And it's super easy to check. If your account has restrictions on it, it's kind of what people are calling shadow banned, right? Instagram kind of keeps saying that there's no such thing, quote unquote, as shadow banning, but they won't show your content if you're doing some stuff that is against their guidelines. And there's a way to find out if your account is in good standing or not. Here's how. So you want to open your account menu, go into your settings, and then privacy. Tap help and then go to account status. And then from there, you're going to be able to see right then if they have put any sort of flags on your account, or if it tells you that your content goes against community guidelines. In any case, you're going to see it right there. So that's how you find out. It's very possible that you didn't do anything wrong, or at least on purpose, but it's an algorithm and it's machines, right? So sometimes it makes mistakes, and you can usually file appeals and things like that. And I also will say that if you pay for Meta verification, you have access to live chat, which gets things done a lot faster. And yeah, it stinks that we have to pay for that kind of support. But for me, it's worth it, because I have had several, and I'm talking 5 things, I think, in the last few months that have sort of flagged my account that I didn't do. Okay. And if I had not had Meta verified on Instagram, I would probably still be in jail and trying to be figuring out what is going on. But they got it fixed within like literal minutes for me. Now, yes, you do have to pay for verification. I think it's worth it. The main reason I wanted to do it in the first place is because so many people get their accounts hacked, right? We see it every day. Like, I lost my account, I couldn't get back in, or whatever. There's so many different things that happen. And I knew that the only way to really ensure that I could get my account back and really prove my identity to Meta was to pay for verification. So for me, it's worth it. You have to make your own decision. I like it. I'm going to stick with it. And that's my case for verification. But that's also how you can make sure you're following their guidelines, because if you're not, your account, your content is not going to be seen. All right. Number 2, guys, is not using good quality video. I don't know if some of you guys just need to clean your cameras, but I see so many low quality videos on Instagram and on TikTok for that matter. I don't know if it's your compression. You need to go into your iPhone's camera settings and make sure that you are set for high quality. I do know that if you don't have like high quality uploads ticked off inside of the platforms as well, like inside of the actual Instagram and TikTok platforms, you can make sure that that is also happening on their end. You need to just check those settings, okay? Because some of your videos look really bad. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, but people do not have any patience for that. Like if you want people to get sucked in by your content and stop the scroll and, listen to what you have to say, and you have valuable things to say, and you want to reach your target audience, it's not going to happen if your video looks crappy. Sorry, especially if you're a photographer. Guys, come on. We are visual people, okay? And I know we're not videographers. I say it all the time. One does not equal the other. Like, don't ask me to shoot video on my pro camera. It's not going to happen. I don't want to do it. I don't want to learn how to do it. I don't care. I am not a videographer. And if I get hired, let's say to do like a branding shoot and they want to add video, I will hire someone to work with me. I am not going to do it. However, I have an iPhone and I have the 14, so I have the cinematic mode, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, like it looks amazing, y'all. So that's what I use 99% of the time. I'm going to be using cinematic mode, or I'll have someone who is assisting me on a shoot to get BTS to use that. Even just the regular video setting on the iPhones now are awesome. So please make sure that your cameras are clean, right? The front facing and your regular camera are actually clean and not cloudy, so that we can see you. And don't put any weird, like distorted filters over yourself. Listen, I understand showing up on video isn't the thing that we really want to be doing. I get it. You can use like a filter, like on Instagram and things like that, or even on TikTok, they have a couple of really nice, like mild, skin retouching filters. I get that totally. But as long as it still looks crisp and clean and like you, that is what matters. You don't want it to be all fuzzy and weird and looking like you're, 2008. Remember Instagram in 2008? Actually 2009. I don't even think it was around in 2008, but early days of Instagram where all like the heavy filter use, like don't do that. It just makes you look dated and not in a good way. Okay. So we're not doing that. We're showing up looking like ourselves. Put a little small filter over your face if you want to, totally fine. But let's just make sure our video looks good. Okay. You don't have to do it on cinematic mode, but it has to look good. If it looks crappy, people are going to scroll past. All right. That leads me to number 3, which is not using good lighting. Again, guys, we are photographers, and some of you, and like most of you, are photographers. And I see a lot of you just not understanding the concept of lighting. And again, it could be that you don't want your face to be on camera, and I understand that as well. But if you are doing a talking video, or if you're doing especially something where you're trying to get like a message across, and I'm not talking about necessarily like, BTS video or things like that. It's really when you are speaking to the camera, right? You got to be able to see your face, and good lighting actually makes you look better. We know this as visual artists. So I want you to bring that ring light over to yourself. Look, there's some fun little tools that you can buy. I will link my favorite little handheld light in the caption. I use it on my phone, like for my phone, like you can clip it right to your phone. I carry it in my bag. I have also used it at like events, like if I'm shooting a wedding at night and I don't want to use a flash, or I just like in a quick pinch, it's strong enough for me to actually light it like a video light. So I love it, and it's cheap. It's super cheap. So there's no excuse for bad lighting. Okay. So please, please, please put a little bit of thought into that process, yes, we kind of do want to just show up as we are. And, social media is all about our authenticity and showing up hot mess express and all that stuff, right? So if you want to do that, that's fine, be authentic. But even just like the light sitting in your car is usually good. You know what I mean? So just be aware of it, because I see a lot of y'all doing these videos in super low light. Again, the video looks grainy and not in a good way. Sometimes grain is good, but not in this case. And just really bad lighting. And again, people are not going to stick around usually if you have such poor quality video and lighting. Moving on to number 4, it's not creating original content. Now, we know Instagram has been prioritizing original content. They literally told us this, okay? So in 2022, they went all out with video, Reels, they wanted to be TikTok and all of that stuff. And people had a breakdown. Like most photographers, especially, just could not handle that. And so many people hated it. And so there was a backlash. And now in 2023, we know that they came out and said, Adam Mosseri, the head of Instagram, came out and said, no, we are not doing that anymore. We definitely are still prioritizing photos. So post your photos, guys. Definitely use the carousel feature, because carousels actually do really, really well. And we're photographers. We've got the content. So mix it up. So what I'm talking about specifically, though, is video content and not creating your own original kind of content. They really like us to come up with original ideas, things that are valuable to our audience. So I'm going to talk about trends in a little bit, specifically sounds. So I'm not necessarily talking about that. Like there is a way to do that and to use trends. However, it is really important for you to not just kind of directly copy what you see and not just basically regurgitate the same kind of content that everyone else is doing. Now, I've talked about this a lot in general. If you want to stand out in your market, you literally have to do something different than what your competition is doing, right? So that's kind of the only reason why I think you even should be looking at what your competition is doing, and so that you could do the opposite. You've got to be able to stand out. If you are just kind of swimming in the same sea and you're like doing the same stuff, it's not going to do you any good. And so that's kind of what I mean when I say you're not creating original content. I want to see you using your creativity a little bit more. And it's there. I know you're tired. I know it's busy season. I know it's a lot, okay? But there is creativity inside of you. I know it. You are a creative. And if you stop pressuring yourself and pushing yourself to do something perfect, those aha moments and really awesome ideas are going to drop in. I know they are. So do some reflection on that, do some journaling about it, see how you can make your content even more even more different, and something fun, right? At the end of the day, people want to be entertained. So, keep it short and keep it fun. Number 5 is not engaging with your audience. So this isn't necessarily specific to you in the creation of your videos. But again, I talk about this quite a bit where we don't want to just be posting and ghosting and then getting off the app. The algorithm does not like it when we do that. And yes, it knows if we're doing that a lot. So it's not going to reward us with views and, putting us and our content in front of the right people, our target clients. So you want to be doing some outbound engagement. You've got to have this as a priority and part of your social media marketing workflow. It doesn't have to be constant. You don't have to be on your phone all the time. You can set a timer for yourself. You can just put it on the calendar, like twice a week for, 10, 15 minutes. Just go out and engage with people. Something that I like to suggest to people to do that I think is really doable and effective, 95% of the time, let's say, is after you post, especially if you're doing manual posting and you're not, using automatic posting and scheduling. If you are doing manual posts on Instagram, spend the next 10 minutes going and doing some outbound engagement with your audience, meaning going through your feed, liking and leaving valuable, insightful, longer comments, not just like 4 words or a couple of emojis. I'm definitely guilty of that. Trust me, I get it. We're all busy. But if you make it, intentional, and if you're going in with it with the idea, like, I'm going to actually engage with these people and be social, because social media is social. These platforms, all of them, want us to be social. They want us to create community, and they want us to create valuable content for the community. So it knows that, we're just either posting content and leaving the platform completely, or we're sticking around and we're going out and we're providing support for other people. It really, really makes a difference, I promise. So please put this on your radar. Go out and engage with your clients. Number 6 is tied into this, and it's not DMing people, not using your DMs. I can't tell you how many photographers I see in my coaching who tell me specifically, I'm not going to DM people. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I get it. We all have our capacity limits. I understand that we don't want to be like at the beck and call of our clients, and I don't want you to be at the beck and call of your clients. I want you to have boundaries. We've talked about that a lot here, and we will continue to. Just because somebody messages you at 9:00 at night doesn't mean you have to automatically respond to them at 9:00 at night. What I'm talking about is just using your DMs during your business hours, right? When you are able to do it. So maybe that looks like setting aside some time every day to check your DMs. Maybe it looks like handing it off to an intern or someone else on your team if you have other people on your team. This is a doable thing, you guys. There are so many positives to using your DMs. A lot of good stuff happens inside the DMs, because that's where you can really get to know your clients. And if you're not willing to have a conversation with people in the DMs, you're going to find it really hard to convert people to clients. I'm just going to say it. And like I was just talking about previously with engagement, the engagement should lead you to the DMs. Okay, so that's another reason why you would want to engage with your clients, because if you're out there commenting on their stuff and you're showing up on their feed, they're way more likely to A, look at your story content, and B, respond to it, like it, or comment on it, which gets them into your DMs. So it's like a little back door into your universe, really. And it's not like you're just saying, hey, please DM me. They're literally showing up in there because you're inviting engagement in your stories, or at least you should be. And if you're in Elevate and any of my coaching, you know that I have like a whole list of prompts that you can use that are going to get people into your DMs. And I want you guys to be using these. The cool thing too is that you could use them consistently, because your story is only, up for 24 hours. So you want to be getting people to your DMs. The idea is that you want to have a conversation with them. You want to ask them questions. You want to see if you can help them, right? If you can give them what they want. Like, how can I help you? What kind of problem can I solve for you? And I know that there is the whole automated DM messages that you can have Instagram automatically shoot out when someone DMs you. I don't have those turned on. I don't like them. I do use them on Facebook, on my Facebook page, and I don't like it there either, if I'm being honest. But it is a little necessary for me over there because I'm just not on Messenger as much. And I don't want to leave people hanging. So I get the idea. On Instagram, but for me, I want to be able to respond with me. And a lot of times, if you've DM'd me, I'm going to send you a voice message probably too. If it's a question that is going to take me more than a second to answer, I'm going to just send you a voice message via Instagram DM instead of a whole long written thing, because that's just easier for me. And people really like that. It's a point of contact with you. So your clients, you have to understand, whatever business you're in, I don't care if you're a senior photographer, another kind of photographer, you run a different kind of creative business, your clients are used to brands responding to them in DMs. So if you're not willing to do that, it's going to hurt your business. You're going to have to get over that a little bit. I'm sorry. And so I need you to be paying attention to your DMs. Number 7 is not using keywords or SEO in your caption, or just not writing a caption, basically. Listen, social media has changed a lot. We know for a fact that One of the main reasons that people are finding us is not necessarily because of Google, because especially if you're working with teenagers, they're not even using Google anymore. They're going straight to TikTok. So if you're not using keywords and your SEO strategy basically inside of your captions on Instagram and on TikTok, I'm going to talk about that one too. Like a lot of this, there's going to be a lot of crossover in what I talk about. I know this episode is titled Insta Blunders, but it's the same thing. A lot of this is going to be the same kind of mistakes you're making on TikTok, right? So that's what I'm talking about. You have to be using that caption to give you a lot of real estate for it. And a lot of people are just not using it, or you're using just really basic, captions like, I loved this senior session, book a session with me. Like that's just, first of all, it's not interesting. Second of all, people don't care. And it isn't going to get you found. You want to be using these platforms, all of them, to the utmost of their abilities, right? Like what their max capacity. And this is a really great strategy that we have been given for free from these platforms that most of you are just not using. So first of all, if you do not have a keyword strategy for your business, that's a problem. Definitely do some research on that. It's not about, we're not going to talk about this in this episode. But you need to know what keywords people are using to find you, right? What are they using to figure out what kind of senior photographer, for instance, that they need in their area? So you got to know what you are searchable for, right? A lot of this too, you can go right into the platform and it gives you the answers, especially on TikTok. If you just go into a little search bar at the very top, from your For You page, and you click in there and you just type in your industry, or you just type in the first part of it, it's going to auto finish for you. And it's going to populate quite a few like auto finished, words, keywords for you underneath that. And those are fantastic keywords to start experimenting with and to put inside your captions. So the idea with this too is it's not like keyword stuffing. Like you don't want to be using like, I'm a senior photographer and I'm here for your senior photos and I want to take your senior pictures. Like you don't want to use like every single keyword available to you. You want to pick one that's going to work well, and you want to weave it into the caption in a really great way that's going to get people to want to read it. That's the key. Number 8 is not using your location. Okay, so we definitely need to be always thinking about safety. I'm not saying that you have to be tagging your location on all your stuff, like while you're out on location shooting. Maybe you don't want people to know exactly where you are. But I'm talking about just in general, like if you have a studio, you should be tagging your studio. If you are, out and about in your area and shooting senior pictures, you could at least just put the city name, right? This is going to help your discoverability and help you get categorized. Again, all of this is about helping you to be categorized by the algorithm in the fastest and most efficient way. So you've got to help the algorithm out a little bit. You got to give it some information. And one of the things that you can do is tell it where you are. So if people are looking for a photographer or a web designer or whatever you are in your area, they're going to put that in most likely as a search thing, right? We just talked about all that. So you've got to tell people where you're located. And a lot of y'all aren't doing this. And for that matter, a lot of y'all aren't doing this on your websites. I know this is not an episode about website critiques and things like that, but that is something that I see a lot. I have gone to someone's website just recently, and not only could I not find where she was located, like literally I dug around for at least 3 minutes, could not find any information about where this person was located. This is a photographer. Not only that, I could not find her name, her actual name. So the way this happened is she followed me on Instagram. And I like to DM people when they follow me on Instagram. I like to say hello. We went over that a little bit. I like to actually do it myself and not use a canned response. So I like to use their name. And if I don't see their name in their Instagram bio, which is a awful red flag, by the way, I don't even have that on this list. So that's number 21. That's your bonus thing. If you don't have your name in your bio, I mean, come on, you guys. So anyway, didn't know her name. So I went to the website to try and find out, because usually I can go to the person's about page, because this actually happens quite a bit, that I don't see their name in their bio anywhere because their photography business is named something else. So even if that is the case and your business is named something else, you really should still have your name somewhere up there, guys. Anyway, I go to the website. I couldn't find it. It literally took me a good 4 or 5 minutes. Even on the about page, this person did not have their name. So that's a big red flag. Like, if that's happening, please fix that and start using and tagging your location so that you are findable and that you're searchable. Number 9 is not looking at your analytics. You got to look at these analytics, guys. I mean, they're there for a reason. I think it's awesome that they give us these tools, but you aren't going to find out any really good information unless you're looking at that. Okay. There's so many variables when it comes to like what a piece of content does, how it performs, and you're not going to know unless you're looking at these numbers. I know it can seem a little confusing, but you really want to look at when your followers are most active, because you want to make sure you're posting when they're on the app so that they can actually view your content, like it, and that the algorithm knows that and starts pushing it out to other people. So that's a really big one. And also, this gives you some really good feedback on, all right, well, did this type of content really work? Do talking videos work well with my audience? And if not, why? You know, we can definitely pick apart some things, but your analytics is your best tool in figuring out your ongoing social media strategy. So at least once a week, I'm not saying you have to pull all the numbers and put them into a spreadsheet. I mean, if you can do that and you've got the capacity for it, more power to you. You're going to collect some good data. But at the very least, please be looking at it. Please be taking note of the important factors so you can, continue to make content that performs well. If you've got a video that takes off, you get a few thousand views on it, do another one almost exactly like it and see if you can replicate those results. And if so, you've got some data on your hands that you can then use in the future. All right, number 10 is specifically for the talking videos. And it is not talking fast enough or not talking quick enough. So I'm not talking about speedy voice. I'm not talking about, having your cadence be different than what your normal voice cadence would be. However, I have seen some of you guys take entirely too long to get to the point. People really hate this, especially on TikTok. Like, it drives people insane, and especially it's going to drive your younger audiences insane, and they're just not going to stick around for it. So talk in a normal, cadence, tone of voice, get your point across. And if you feel like you talk very slowly in general, just practice a little bit, practice, and maybe just do quick cuts. That's the other thing. You don't have to do one long video all in one take. You can break it up. So say what you got to say, cut. Say what you got to say, cut. And then go back so you can then get rid of the pauses. And so what I really mean by this not to do, number 10, also is when you wait too long to speak at the beginning of your video. So if you press record and you wait a second, and especially if you just kind of wait and you go, hey guys, that is like a millennial thing to do. And I'm a Gen Xer. Like, I'm not here to bash on any generation. Like, we all have our funny isms, right? But our Gen Z clients really don't stick around for those. It's like an immediate no for them. So I'm just trying to help you out. If you are marketing to Gen Zers, you got to be a little bit, a lot quicker when you get on video, like go right into it. Don't even say, hey guys, just be like, blah, 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 when, da, 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 or whatever. My favorite senior poses are, etc. You kind of have to grab them quickly, and then you have to be speaking in a way that is going to be engaging to them. So for most people, that's going to mean doing quick cuts and then editing out the pauses and the ums and making it fast and concise so that your audience actually enjoys the content. Number 11 is not using trending sounds. Okay, I know we talked about making sure your videos are original content. Yes, I hope you guys get that point and realize that using trending sounds is also just a really great way to get your videos discovered. So I send trending sounds and just trends in general to all my coaching students and my Elevate group coaching students once a week. I've been sending it to the Visibility Challenge people too, because I'm already on the app. I'm already doing this research. I want to make sure that you guys are using trending sounds that are, going to help you get found. That's why you would use a trending sound. Yes, it helps if you like the sound, because there's a lot of sounds that are trending that I don't like and I won't use them. So you absolutely can and should use your discernment and, whether this fits into your brand identity, that's all a part of this. So I usually send out a really big list of both Reels and TikTok trends for my clients to look through so they can choose some of the best ones. And again, some of them are CapCut templates, or some of them are like trending, like lip sync video things where you should be putting your own spin on it and not doing exactly what someone else did. But there's always a way to make those creative. And those are really fun. For me, it kind of gets my brain just moving and thinking about different ways I could come up with something that no one else has done yet, right? And maybe they have, and I just haven't seen it, but I feel really creative in those moments. And so I want you to dive into that as well and really use these trending sounds in a way that makes sense for you. So I like to use sounds that are sort of on the rise, meaning usually under 2,000 or 3,000 views at the time when I've bookmarked them, right? It's because I go through and I'll bookmark some trending sounds. But here's a little way to find some trending sounds if you don't know this little trick for Instagram. So if you go through and you're scrolling on Reels, you click on the little sound, right? The little circle at the bottom right. It'll take you to that sounds page. At the top of that page, it'll tell you whether it's trending or not. So it'll also tell you how many videos it's been used in. Some of them are like over 1 million, right? And so I'm not saying you can't use ones that have a lot of views on it. I have just found that when I use a trending sound that is on the rise, it usually hits better for me. So sometimes using a sound that has a ton of views already, you kind of get lost in that shuffle, basically. You can definitely do it, but I would suggest looking for ones that have smaller video views on them. But here's a little trick. So when you click on that, if you're on the sound page and you see the little thing that says trending, there's like a little arrow, I believe, next to it on the left, and it says trending, and then it tells you the number. Click on the word trending. That'll take you to the 50 trending sounds over the last 3 days on the platform. Now, I'm not telling you all of those are great sounds to use for your business, because some of them are songs that you probably would never use, right? Like we were just talking about, but you can definitely go through them and they tell you too how many videos have been used. So some of them are really, really high and some of them are just emerging. So that's another really good way to curate your own list of trending sounds, but definitely use them. Number 12 kind of goes along with the sound thing, and it is not using your audio controls. I see you guys do this a lot on your videos. You do a talking video, which is awesome. And I'm so proud of you for showing up and doing it. But you're using like a trending sound or any sound underneath your voice. And you're not like putting that sound low enough for us to hear what you have to say. This is, again, something, especially on TikTok, that people just have zero patience for. So I just want to help you out. I want you to know about it. You can go into the volume. So when you click on the sound, especially in TikTok, you can go in, it's 2 different places. So on TikTok, if you click on the sound at the very top of the video, it'll take you to that sound. You can change it out or anything like that. And then it'll have volume at the bottom right, I believe. When you click that, you can either put your sound of your voice higher or lower, and same thing with a trending sound that you may have used underneath your voice. Now, when I do my talking videos, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to put a sound underneath. I used to back in the day on TikTok in like 2019 through probably early 2022. That is, a very common practice for us to do over on TikTok, but it's not really so much anymore. And I also like the fact that I don't have to worry about that sound being removed possibly in the future. So that's another thing to think about. On Instagram, it's different. You have to put the sound and then you have to go back into the sound and click on the control thing. I think it's top left, they make it a little bit harder. I'm not going to lie. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. I don't love the Reels interface. They are improving it. It's getting better, but it's not as intuitive and as good as TikTok. So you definitely can still change the sound though on a trending sound that you add in under your voice or your own voice's volume level. So please make sure that you are using that appropriately and that people can actually hear what you have to say. Number 13 is not timing your videos with the music. Okay, so not every video has to do this, but if you just take a second to time the clips of your video. So let's just say you've got like 4 or 5 BTS videos that you want to compile into a quick little clip. Again, I do think that your videos need to be shorter. So when in doubt, 8 seconds or less. And so let's say you've got 4 or 5 clips and you want to use this song. So you found a trending song. You bring it all into the interface, try and cut it to the music if you can. It really isn't that hard, especially if you only just have like 4 or 5 clips, because this is just so soothing to our unconscious and it's just more pleasant to watch. And for that matter, the sound sync also matters as well. So if you are doing a lip syncing video and the sound sync is off, try and fix it. Okay. There's different apps you can use. I use Pick, Play, Post. And you can go in and you can, make sure that your voice is actually synced with the video, because the whole idea of a lip sync video is that it's supposed to be lip syncing, not completely off. So if it's off, try again. Okay. But the same thing can be said to, especially if you're using like a song, a sound that has really specific like cuts or like places where a photo or a video should be. Try your best to time it. The editors have gotten so much better. You don't have to use an external one. You can. There's a lot of them. There's InShot, Splice, Pick, Play, Post. Like there's all kind of different editors you can use. I usually edit my videos inside the platform, and I usually use TikTok first because I don't like the Reels one as much. However, I do use Reels on occasion. So either one works, and either one, they've definitely improved them. So please try and get the sound sync going in a way that is pleasing for your audience to look at. All right, home stretch, we're getting there. We're going to go a little bit quick on a couple of these. Number 14 is not creating content that is valuable to your actual audience. Now, this goes in line with knowing who your target client is and understanding what they want from you. So if you're producing content that, let's just say, you love, that may or may not work for your target client. And sometimes it does. Like, I do believe that the beginning parts of the target client work, yes, we do vibe with our tribe. You know what I mean? Like our energy, my whole episode last week was about resonance and about all of this. So yes, you have to be in your resonance to attract the right people, but your target clients may not like the same kind of content as you, or may not find it valuable. Like that's really what this is about. The platforms want us to be creating content that is actually valuable to our audience and that they can use in some way. So you're going to have to do some research on this. You're going to have to make sure that you are on target with what they want. But if you're just kind of just regurgitating content just to put content out there, that's probably why you're not seeing a lot of growth. And I do see a lot of you guys posting daily, sometimes more than that, and you have not really grown at all. Like I don't see your followers getting any higher. And I don't see any of your videos getting a lot of really good views. And so that shouldn't be happening. If you are producing a lot of content daily, especially if you are doing it twice a day, and you've been doing this, let's just say for 4, 5, 6 months, and you really haven't seen a lot of growth, your content needs to be adjusted. You need to look at what is going on there. How can I make this better? How can I make it more fun? There's something that's off because you are going to keep getting those same results, and you shouldn't be. If you're doing all that work and you're putting yourself out there and you're creating content every day, you should be getting a payoff. Okay. So definitely look at that. Number 15 is not posting consistently. So again, if you are posting every day, this isn't going to apply to you. But those of you who are just kind of showing up once, twice a month and expecting to see growth, it's not going to happen. Or expecting to see anything really, not just growth, but like clients in general. You're not going to have discoverability. You're not going to have people, actually searching for your niche in your area, and you're not going to come up. So the posting consistently is huge. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to do this 30-day challenge that we're just completing. It's because I wanted to sort of throw a lot of you guys into the fire of what it feels like to post every day. And I'm so, so proud of so many of you guys doing this. Like, there's a lot of people in this challenge who have truly come out of their comfort zone, showing up every day on their stories, especially producing reels, producing content that will continue to live on their platforms and provide valuable content for their target clients. It is absolutely amazing watching you guys do this. So I've loved it. However, I know that there's a lot of you guys who are not consistent. All right. I see you kind of pop in and out, and I see this a lot. I run a really big Facebook group for high school senior photographers. That's literally what it's called. We have almost 15,000 members in there. There's a lot of photographers in there. So it can get, a little bogged down with content, but I see a lot of posts from people in there, from photographers in there who are talking about how they can't find clients. They don't know how to get clients, et cetera. My first question is always like, what are you doing? What are you already doing? And 9 times out of 10, they're not showing up on social at all. Or if they are, they're posting and ghosting, or they're only on one platform, or they just don't understand how to really use it. So you got to be showing up consistently, guys. And if you can't find a way to stay consistent yourself, then form a pod of accountability with your friends or join a coaching program. I mean, that's what Elevate is for. I have a $49 a month membership, and I'm there for them. I'm giving them trends. I'm helping them show up consistently and do the thing. So if you can't do it on your own, work with a coach, work with somebody to make sure you're getting it done, because it does matter, especially if you're not going to run ads. You got to find clients somehow. And yes, your word of mouth should be on point, but that's not what this episode is about. So make sure that you are showing up consistently, please. Number 16 is not using calls to actions. Now, specifically with these, I want to talk about a couple of things. So there could be a lot of CTAs. It doesn't necessarily have to be like book your session now, or, if you're looking for a photographer or insert whatever your industry is, get on my calendar. This could be a lot of different things that you're not using, like shoot me a DM, comment below, head to my website, make sure you like and share this post, send this post to a friend so that they can also get awesome value from it. And a big one is add me to your favorites list. So Instagram has this feature now where we can create our own favorites list as opposed to our, regular feed of just all the people that we're following. This is a really big, useful tool for a lot of people, and you're not using it. When people add you to their favorites lists, it tells the algorithm that your content is valuable, which is their number one, remember. So you want to be added to many different people's favorites lists so that the algorithm can then send your content to more people like them. This is a really easy thing to do. And no, you should not be using a call to action in every single post. I'm not saying that, but you definitely should be using them more than you are most likely. Number 17 is not using all the tools that the platform gives you. A lot of y'all are not using, specifically with Instagram, you're not using stories enough. And I'm not really sure why. Like, I love stories. I think it's actually my favorite feature that Instagram gives us. There's so much good stuff that happens in the stories. For me, it's how I build trust and really kind of like shows my audience who I am, who I really am. So I'm not really a big fan of using super curated story content, although sometimes I do. And what I mean by that is like, Canva templates and really pretty slides. And I love InStories, which is an app. Love them. I think they have some really cool templates. I've been using them for at least 3 years now. I do use some of that. But the cool thing about stories is that you can sort of like repurpose and regurgitate the same content maybe weekly or even twice a week, because not everybody is going to see your content at the same time or at all, right? That story content disappears after 24 hours. So you can absolutely reuse the same slides. Just put them in an album in your phone so that you can grab them easily. And, especially if you are promoting something like your team or a new product or a launch or anything like that, you're going to want to be able to use that same content over and over again. And stories is a great way to do that. Again, you should be inviting engagement on your stories as well. We talked about that previously. So not using all of the tools that Instagram is giving us is a big thing that I see you guys doing. We did talk about some of the other features as well, like DMs and inviting engagement. I just want this on your radar. Photos definitely are still a factor. So you should be posting photos as well, especially carousels. For some reason, carousels are doing really, really well on Instagram. They're still having a moment. So use it, right? Definitely integrate that into your strategy and your workflow if you haven't already. I definitely don't use them enough. I'm going to be really honest with y'all. I'm very video heavy. I prefer video. It's easier for me. I usually create on TikTok, repurpose on Instagram. So I definitely don't use enough of the carousel posting, but every time I post one, it does really, really well. So make sure that you are using as much of the resources as they give us, because the algorithm likes that. And so the more you use it, the more you're going to be rewarded by having your content fed to the right people. Number 18 is not mixing things up and not experimenting with different types of content. What I mean by that is mixing up your strategy by doing some trends, by doing a talking video, by doing, a long form video. Maybe try a minute or a 90-second or longer. TikTok allows you to do 10-minute. Maybe you have something really cool that you want to share that's a tutorial or a longer posing video. So I think that it's really important to be experimenting. And that's kind of what I want you guys to hear from this one, is that you should be experimenting so that you can find out the feedback from your audience, what is working and what is not. Some of this stuff is going to fall flat. I'm going to tell you right now, not all of it is going to work, but you're never going to find out unless you try. So you got to start experimenting a little bit, pushing yourself outside of your own comfort zone. If you have found yourself, like for instance, if you've been in this challenge with me and you've been posting every day, okay, now that we're coming to the end of the challenge, I want you to be thinking about going forward. What does that really mean for you? First of all, can you stay accountable? Second of all, can you mix it up? Can you try a different type of content maybe, or see if you can get a little bit more creative or a little bit more value driven? There's a lot of ways that you can crank up the heat on what you've already done. Number 19 is not collaborating. Okay, so I know what you're saying. Like, okay, Renee, who am I going to collaborate with? Well, this could be a lot of different ways that you could collaborate. Collaborating means bringing more people into a video or a piece of content with you so that more people can then be resharing that video. So those of you who run like a senior rep team, and those of you who have my creative team method, I talk about this a lot, not just in the way that I want you working with other brands, which is really useful, by the way. So that brings in a whole different group of people, right? If you're working with a brand and you have your whole team and you've got your makeup people, you got your hair people, you have so many more people sharing that piece of content. So this is kind of what I mean. You don't have to run a team to collaborate. You can do this in a lot of different ways. Maybe you just look for a group of seniors or teens you can, do a shoot with, or maybe if you are a brick and mortar business of a different kind of a creative business, think about how you can rope in other businesses possibly to do something cool. Maybe if it's just even for a video, but if there's a bigger intention, maybe a cause that you can also tie into it, that would be really beneficial as well. And you guys can also collaborate within your industry. So if you are an interior designer, what are some other cool interior designers that online? Maybe you guys can do a group video where you all do a different take on something. marketing, right? There's something going around right now on social, which I think is awesome for photographers. I've seen it on Instagram and I've seen it on TikTok by different photographers. I'm not really sure who started it, but it's very cool. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, just in my groups, is, one raw photo edited a myriad of different ways. So 6 or 7 other photographers putting their take on it. And so those people are all tagged in the video. So everybody's sharing it. Again, the bigger, the wider the reach, that piece of content, the better. And so those are just really fun too. It's really fun to see how different photographers are going to edit one raw photo, and they're all so different. And it's a really great example of why we're drawn to the kind of work that we're drawn to. And it also is just lifting other people up. It's really cool and positive. And so I think that trend, it's happening right now, like middle of October at the time of this recording. I bet we're going to see a ton more of that. In any case, think about how you can use collaboration, because Instagram specifically really likes that. And it is known for its influencer marketing. It's still a thing. It's still going to continue being a thing. This is a trend that we're seeing that is going to continue to rise. Yes, our Gen Z clients don't like the word influencer, which is why I changed my entire team from an influencer team to a creative team like 2 years ago, because I knew that was coming. And now a lot of you guys are also seeing that, and I'm getting that feedback from y'all as well in DMs. So it doesn't mean that influencers are going away. A lot of big brands are still using them and using content creators. So how can you collaborate either within your industry or with other people outside of it to bring more awareness to your brand? Okay, we've come to the last one, number 20. I probably could have added a few of these, but for the sake of time, we're wrapping it up after this one. All right. So number 20 is not showing up. I was going to have to say it, right? I was going to have to bring this up, that a lot of y'all are just not showing up at all. You're not being visible. You're not putting yourself out there. You're not talking about your business. You're not talking about your brand, and you're not getting clients. So if that's you, I really hope that some of my other podcasts could help you. I've done quite a few as of recently on this topic in particular, because I've been running this 30-day visibility challenge, and it's been very top of mind. And I wanted to support that community. I have about 76 people who joined the challenge, and I wanted to be able to support them in an extra sort of way as well. Like, we have our Voxer group, and I'm in there cheering them on and giving them a lot of cool tips. But I wanted to also create some other content for them, and also for you guys who didn't join the challenge. And this is a really, really big one. So if you haven't listened to some of my other episodes about showing up, you should. And I will try and link maybe a couple in the show notes for you that, ones that are particularly a kick in the pants. Maybe you need a kick in the pants. Whatever you need, I really do. I would love to support you. I really want you to win. I want you to show up. I want you to have business. I want you to have clients. I want you to be successful, and I want you to be profitable, all while having fun. This does not have to be rocket science. Usually we make it way more complicated than it has to be, or that it really is. We start thinking way too much and overthinking about everything, and being perfectionists and falling into old patterns. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to just realize at the end of the day, this should be fun. You probably started this business because it was fun, or you were good at it, or, people told you you had a good eye, whatever. But at the heart of it, it makes you feel good, and you like making other people feel good. So I want you out there telling people about your awesome business. You can't be found unless you are out there putting yourself in people's view. Okay. Find your target clients, find out where they are, and get in front of them. Yes, we definitely need to be doing in-person marketing. We talk about this a lot inside of coaching and, my groups and all of that. Social media is not the end all be all. It shouldn't be your only strategy, but it is free and it is readily available to you. And a lot of y'all are just not using it whatsoever. And you're really missing out on a lot of clients and a lot of fun, if I have to be honest. So I hope this episode was helpful for you. If it was, I want you to share it with a friend. There's a lot of people who need this kind of advice, these tips. I tried really hard to, come up with ones that I see all the time that I think would make the biggest difference for you. So if you found this useful, go ahead and share it with somebody right now. You can also share on social. Make sure you tag me if you do at Renee Bowen on Insta so that I can see it and reshare it. You never know. I might send you something too. Gift giving is not my love language. However, it's just underneath my love language, which is acts of service, which is kind of related. But yeah, I like to give people surprise things. So you never know. The whole point is that I do really appreciate it when you guys share my episodes, and nothing lights me up more than the messages, the DMs I get from you that tell me how you binged it and how much the content is actually valuable and useful to you, because that's really all I want from this podcast. At the end of the day, I want it to be something that provides immense value and not just fluff. Okay. So hopefully I have given that to you. I have delivered that to you today. If I have, let me know. And as always, thank you guys for jumping in and listening today. And I'll see you next time. I hope you have an amazing, amazing week. If you are feeling the weight of the world and the heaviness that's going on around you, I definitely feel that. I have also been feeling that myself. I think that it would be impossible to not feel that, because we are humans and we are connected, and everything that is happening right now is really difficult to watch and to hear. And so, make sure you're prioritizing your mental health and your peace. And it's okay to take a minute and to take some time and to make sure that you are checking in with yourself and your friends. A lot of people are affected by everything that's going on right now. So I just wanted to mention that, because we were talking about, showing up, and a lot of people are like, Renee, I really don't know, if it feels right doing that right now. But I do think it's important to continue sharing your light and what you bring to the world. And most of you, if you're listening to this podcast, you are probably a really caring person. You are probably like one of those people who just lights up when you see other people light up, and you love what you do. So I truly believe that by doing that and continuing to show up and do that, you are using all the gifts that were given to you, and you're spreading love and spreading light and spreading peace, and all of those things are good. And we need as many of those things as we can possibly get right now. So don't dim it, okay? Show up in a way that feels comfortable for you, and provide value and spread love and joy, and just put your resonance out there. It's going to come back to you, I promise. And I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a phenomenal week ahead.